Someone wrote a book that no one has ever been able to read. Not in 600 years. The Voynich manuscript exists. It sits in a climate-controlled vault at Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book Library. It is 240 pages long, it is illustrated, and every single word inside it remains completely unknown. Radiocarbon dating places its creation between 114 and 1438. The vellum is real. The ink is real. The book is real. U.S. Meinten understanding that with Heining. What the signed Aptionuff. In 1912, a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich purchased it from a Jesuit college in Frascati, Italy. Inside the manuscript he found a letter. It was dated 1666 and addressed to the great Jesuit scholar Athanasius Kircher. The letter claimed the manuscript had once belonged to Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II, who supposedly paid 600 gold ducats for it. Rudolph II collected the strange and the unexplained. His court was full of alchemists, astrologers, and men who believed the world held secrets not yet named. The manuscript passed through the hands of scholars, monks, and emperors. Each of them failed to understand a single word. And then, in 2019, a sealed leather satchel was recovered during the renovation of a building in Bologna. Inside it was a journal. The satchel bore no name, only a wax seal pressed with a symbol that appeared nowhere in any known heraldic record. The journal inside was written on vellum, the same composition, the same animal skin, as the Voynich manuscript itself. Carbon dating of the journal's vellum returned a result that stopped the analysis team. It was contemporary with the manuscript, possibly older. From the journal, I have carried it for 11 years now. The book does not wish to be understood. It wishes only to be held. The handwriting in the journal is precise, educated, and shifts between Latin, Italian, and one other script that has not yet been identified. The author never gives a name. They refer to themselves only as the keeper. They refer to the manuscript as the patient one. From the journal, 3 men before me attempted a translation. The first went silent. The second left the city without word. The third I will not name. Historians confirm that in the late 15th century, at least 2 known scholars who studied the manuscript left no further academic record after doing so. This is not unusual on its own. Records from that era are fragmentary. Scholars disappeared from history for ordinary reasons all the time. What is unusual is that the journal names them both, and it names them correctly, with details that were not published until centuries after this journal was supposedly written. The journal's author describes the manuscript not as a text to be solved, but as something that observes, something that waits. From the journal, I do not read it. I sit beside it. In the mornings, I find I have moved closer without remembering having done so. This kind of language could be dismissed as metaphor, except the journal also contains something else, marginal annotations written in a third hand. A third person, at some unknown point, had been reading the journal, and had been leaving corrections. From the journal, the plants it depicts do not grow in any garden I have known. Yet I have seen one, once, in a dream I did not choose to have. The Voynich manuscript's botanical section depicts over 100 plants. None have been conclusively matched to any known species, living or extinct. Botanists, biologists, and pharmacologists have studied these illustrations for decades. The consensus remains the same. The plants do not exist. From the journal, the keeper before me believed the plants were instructions, not for medicine, not for something that requires no body to receive it. The journal references a previous keeper, suggesting a chain of custodians, each inheriting both the manuscript and the journal, each adding to it. If that chain is real, it means the journal is not one person's account. It is a record spanning generations. and it has been building toward something. The annotations left by the third hand are not corrections in the ordinary sense. They are additions, details the original author could not have known. From the journal, someone has been reading my words. They have added, in the margin beside my third entry, a single sentence. You are not the first to notice this, and you will not be the last to stop. Paleographers who examine the third hand estimate it belongs to a different century entirely, written at least 80 years after the surrounding entries. This means someone found the journal, read it in silence, chose not to identify themselves, and wrote only that warning before sealing it away again. From the journal, the manuscript has a section I returned to without intention. 16 pages of stars arranged in wheels. I have begun to recognize the pattern. I do not know when I learned it. The Voynich manuscript's astronomical section contains elaborate circular diagrams, nested rings, radiating spokes, and figures that some researchers have compared to medieval cosmological charts, though none match exactly. Others have suggested the diagrams represent something more biological, cellular even, a structure that medieval science had no language to describe. From the journal, the keeper before me left one instruction: do not attempt to copy the star section by hand. She did not explain why. I have not disobeyed her. Journal refers to the previous keeper as she, the only gendered reference in the entire document. It is not elaborated upon. If the chain of keepers is real, and if one of them was a woman working in secrecy sometime in the 15th or 16th century, that alone rewrites what we thought we knew about who had access to this book. The journal does not describe how the manuscript was acquired. It describes only how it felt to be near it, as though the book had been expecting someone to arrive. From the journal, the first night I kept it, I slept without dreaming. The second night, I dreamed only of a color I have no name for. By the third, I stopped trying to sleep near it. Researchers who have spent extended time with the physical manuscript have noted, informally and separately, a similar quality, a difficulty in stepping away. Most dismiss it as the pull of an unsolved problem. From the journal, there is a page near the center I have never been able to turn past, not from reverence. From something I cannot account for in any language I possess. The page the keeper may be referencing is known to researchers as Folio 78er, a full-page diagram unlike anything else in the manuscript, depicting figures submerged in interconnected pools, surrounded by text that has resisted every method of analysis. Some researchers classify Folio 78er as part of the manuscript's balneological section, baths, medicine, the body. Others find that explanation insufficient. The figures do not look like patients. They look like they are waiting. From the journal, the keeper before her, the one she called the cartographer, believed the pools were not water. He believed they were time. I have written this down because I cannot unthink it. The journal names a keeper called the cartographer, a title, not a name. From the journal, he left a single map folded inside the back cover. I have studied it for 2 years. It does not correspond to any coast, any mountain range, any river I have found, and yet I know it. I know it the way you know, a place you have never been. When the Bologna satchel was opened, investigators documented every item inside. The journal, a small iron clasp, and a single folded piece of vellum that has not yet been made available to the public. The folded vellum from the satchel has been examined by 2 independent cartographic institutes. Neither has issued a statement. From the journal, the cartographer told the keeper before him that the map was not made to be followed. It was made to be recognized. There is a difference. The journal entries begin to change in tone around what appears to be its midpoint. The handwriting tightens. The sentences grow shorter. Something had shifted for the keeper. From the journal, I have begun to see the script in my sleep, not as letters, as shapes that mean something before meaning is possible. I write this without alarm. I write this as a record. Linguists have long noted that the Voynich script possesses a statistical structure consistent with natural language, entropy patterns, word frequency distributions, yet no translation has ever held. It reads like language, it behaves like language, and yet it says nothing that any living mind has been able to receive. From the journal, the patient one does not use language to conceal. I believe now it uses language to select. Only certain minds receive anything at all. I do not yet know if I am one of them. The third hand appears again here. In the margin beside this entry, a single word has been added. The word is in Latin. It translates simply as correct. From the journal, I have found the page the cartographer marked, a small crease in the lower corner of folio 78. He was here. He sat where I sit. He stopped where I stop. Folio 78 air bears a physical mark consistent with repeated handling at one specific corner, documented by conservators in 2012, attributed at the time to ordinary wear. The journal was not known then. The crease on folio 78 or is not random wear. Conservators noted it follows a deliberate angle, as though a finger had been pressed there repeatedly with intention. From the journal, he pressed the corner down to mark it, not to return to it, to warn whoever came next that this was where the book began to press back. The phrase press back appears nowhere else in the journal. It is used only once, and only here, in reference to this page. From the journal, I have begun to count the figures in the pools. The number is not consistent. I count them in the morning, then again at dusk. The number changes. I have checked my own arithmetic. Folio 78 contains what appear to be between 70 and 80 figures, depending on how certain ambiguous marks are classified. No two published analyses have agreed on the exact count. From the journal, the third hand has written something new, not in the margin this time, directly beneath my count. The number they have written is different from both of mine. The third hand, by this point in the journal, has intervened 6 times. Each intervention is brief. Each one is written as though the annotator had been waiting for the keeper to arrive at exactly that moment. From the journal, I think the third hand is not someone who read this after me. I think they read it before me, and left the words in the places they knew I would need them. This is not a possibility that can be easily dismissed. Precognitive annotation, writing placed in anticipation of a future reader's specific thoughts, has no rational framework, and yet the placement is exact. From the journal, the manuscript does not contain a message. I understand that now. It contains a process, and I am somewhere inside it. The keeper begins, around this point in the journal, to write with a different kind of attention, not recording events, but tracking a transformation already underway. From the journal, I no longer read the manuscript. I sit with it. There is a difference I cannot explain to anyone who has not felt it, the way attention becomes something closer to listening. Researchers who have worked closely with the physical Voynich manuscript have described, in separate interviews, a similar shift from active analysis to something more passive, almost receptive. From the journal, the botanical section shows plants no one has named. I have begun to wonder if naming was ever the point. Some things are drawn to be known in a different way. The Voynich manuscript's herbal section depicts over 100 plants. Not one has been conclusively matched to any known species, living or extinct. From the journal, the cartographer believed the plants were not invented. He believed they were remembered. From somewhere the author had been, that we have not been, or have not been yet. The journal does not attribute this belief to the cartographer with skepticism. It records it plainly, as one records a measurement or a date. From the journal, I have found a route drawn in the manuscript that I have also seen in the map, the same shape, the same proportion. One is a plant. One is a coastline. I have measured both. If the map from the satchel and the botanical illustration shared geometric correspondences, it would suggest the manuscript and the map were made by the same hand, or designed to be read together. From the journal, I do not think the manuscript is a book. I think it is one half of something, and the map is the other half, and together they describe a location, not on any earth I have walked. The keeper does not describe this location with fear. She describes it the way a navigator describes a destination, as something real, waiting to be reached. From the journal, the manuscript and the map together form something I can only call an address. I do not know the language of the address, but I recognize its grammar. In cartographic theory, an address requires two things, a coordinate system and a reference point. The keeper appears to believe she has found both, one in the manuscript, one in the map. From the journal, I have begun to draw the correspondence myself, the route on folio 34, the inlet on the map's eastern edge. The angle is identical. I have measured it 4 times. The journal entries from this period are the most densely written. The keeper appears to be working, not merely observing. Me pride mediti, something has moved from contemplation into action. From the journal, the third hand has not written anything in 11 days. I have begun to wonder if their silence is itself a message, if I have reached the place where I must continue alone. Every keeper in the journal's implied lineage appears to have reached a threshold, a point beyond which the record becomes sparse or stops entirely. The current keeper is approaching that same silence. From the journal, I understand now why none of them wrote down what came next. It is not that there are no words. It is that the words would only be useful to someone already standing exactly here. The Voynich manuscript remains in the Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library at Yale University. It is catalogued as EMS 48. It is available under supervised conditions for scholarly examination. From the journal, the final recorded entry, I leave this here for the one who comes after. You will know this page when you reach it. You are already close. The journal ends there. No date, no signature, no indication of what the keeper did next or where she went. The satchel, the folded map, and the journal were submitted to a private archive in the spring of the year they were found. The archive has not responded to requests for access. The Voynich manuscript itself has never moved. It remains in its case at Yale, unchanged, uncoded, patient. Since the journal's existence became known in certain research circles, at least 3 individuals have submitted formal requests to re-examine folio 78-or. All 3 requests are listed as pending. The third hand has never been identified. Its ink has never been dated. Its language, where it appears, is Latin, but its intent remains entirely its own. 600 years of scrutiny have produced no translation, no author, no origin, and no consensus. What the manuscript contains, it has kept entirely to itself, and yet people return to it. Scholars, cryptographers, linguists, botanists, drawn back again and again to a book that has never once answered them. Perhaps the keeper was right. Perhaps it does not offer answers. Perhaps it offers something else, a process, a selection, a slow and patient attention directed at whoever is willing to sit long enough. Somewhere, someone is reading the journal now for the first time. Somewhere, a page is being turned to folio 78-r. Somewhere, a corner is being pressed down, perhaps without knowing why. The manuscript does not ask to be solved. It asks only to be recognized. There is a difference. There has always been a difference. And somewhere, in a library in New Haven, under controlled light, behind glass, the manuscript waits, as it has always waited, as it will continue to wait.